Welcome to my channel. My name is Piers. I talk about property investment and Airbnb business in my channel. So if you're new to this channel, please give this channel a subscribe and a massive like. Well, with my recent posts on social medias and even in my YouTube comment, I've been attracting a lot of young, people who are looking to get into property investing or even first time buying in property. So in this video, I will be sharing you how to actually buy your first property and the steps, because the questions I get asked a lot is, actually, I don't know, I know how to buy a property, but I don't know what are the steps that I need to take. So in a nutshell, in this video, I will be sharing you through my experience. I've served hundreds of people as a first time buyers to buy properties through my, estate agent journey. And also now I work with property investors and actually know a lot more in depth about the property industry. So keep watching the video and I will show you step-by-step process on how to buy your first home. There's so much content out there, you've probably seen what to look at and stuff, but in this video later on, I will share you some real examples of little things that you need to work out. Just that will save you the time frame that you want to buy your property in and actually be prepared to actually buy those properties. So keep watching this video. Later on, I will show you some screenshots of what you need to do to make sure you achieve those results in the time frame. I can share you so many stories of first time buyers that I've helped, and the joy, the happiness I've seen in their faces picking up keys, those thank you calls, those thank you chocolates and everything. I have been very, very blessed to be able to help so many people. However, there is a part, and you know what, this video is all about to help you guys. If you're a first time buyer, I would want to make sure that I have given you as much as information to be able to understand the process, and hopefully you to go out there and actually talk to those people, the right people that will, that's your power team who will put this all together to buy your first property. Later on this video, I will be sharing you some of the services, the product, the people that you need as a first time buyer. And not only that, I must say, there's so many little things that a lot of clients, when I first started my estate agent and I was getting first time buyers, there was so much less or very little or no knowledge around those people, and to be able to actually serve them and give them that value of consultation, it has been amazing. And that's what I'm going to do through this video so that it can help you go and buy your first property. With my experience, I've seen a lot of challenge around first time buyer, and it is their mindset. Now, a lot of time you probably are in that position at the moment where if you're just about to think about buying your first property, because you've got very little or no knowledge, you automatically keep it, to a second priority and actually say, I might not be ready for buying this property yet, or I'm not ready, I don't know how to buy a property. Now, the biggest thing is to get your mindset ready when you're buying your first property. Well, if you're watching this video, the first thing I can think is you've got a great mindset and you're doing that right research on actually finding opportunities or understanding about first time buyers and their requirement. But however, the other thing a lot of people miss out is you can also be ready to just speak to your families, your friends who's already gone through this process. They are no better than actually to tell you these are the processes they've gone through. Maybe some of them has challenges, some of them might not have. Now, one of the things, guys, I must say is property buying or first time buying journey can never be the same for everyone. It's completely different to your individual circumstances. So the biggest thing I'd say is to get some kind of idea and a process through your families, your friends, but at the same time, at later date, in this video, I will be sharing you who to speak to, what sort of question you've got to ask them, and hopefully this will bring all together for you to put, your circumstances ready and hopefully go and buy your first property. When I served my clients, one thing I always say them was, look, you've got your standard process, which is the process that you're actually using while buying the property or your first time property. However, there's a critical process prior to actually buying properties. There's certain things that could take up to 6 months, a year, to make sure that you understand that process. So guys, later on this video, I am going to share you the standard process and also my 3 points on critical process that you've got to be ready with. And I'm sure with this will give you an eye-opening journey to actually go and buy your first home. Well, this could be your own goal that you wanted to go and buy your first property, and today you're actually, preparing your whole processes. Well, the biggest question, and I'm sure that's going through your head at the moment as well, is where do I start? A lot of people ask, the biggest thing I've seen and the challenges for first-time buyer is where do they start, or how do I start? So guys, in this video, if this is your goal, I think the biggest thing I would advise you is to get yourself prepared to go through this process of standard and critical process so that it helps you start your journey as quickly as possible. So let me show you some of the standard process of buying property. So that is what we call, speaking to the right power team. Now just think about, even if you're a first-time buyer, just think that they are your power team. This really brings me happiness and joy, especially talking about standard process. The amount of first-time buyers I've served and actually seen their face go, actually it was quite easier than I thought it would be. And going through this process to actually them picking those keys up, that was a fantastic journey. And for me, there was quite a simple way I would have explained to you, and today's video is all about just me making sure that there's about 4 to 5 people that you put on your power team that's going to help you actually achieve your first home. Now, the first one I would say is speak to a mortgage broker, right? And if it's your first property, obviously, as you probably know, there's a lot, again, your question should be, well, who is a mortgage broker? What do they do in your journey of buying your first home? A mortgage broker is simple. They would actually just sort you out your finances in terms of buying your first home. Now, they are the one, they will deal with lenders, which is the banks or private lenders, who's going to give you the mortgage on the property that you're looking for. So quite simple, but a lot of people, I'll talk in detail about this few things that a mortgage broker obviously will give you in details information. Well, this is probably the best one because obviously I've owned a estate agent myself, and the amount of people who walk into a estate agent, here you go, is amazing because first time buyers generally tend to not walk into estate agent because they feel like they're not not going to give value to those people. But reality is actually, yes, you can look online, but the biggest thing estate agents are always welcoming and actually giving you, because what they want to do is they want to have first-time buyers like yourself in the list of their clientele, which means obviously tomorrow when you're actively ready and your finances are sorted, the next person that you're really going to deal with are estate agents. So guys, the second thing I would advise you is straight away go and speak to a estate agent while you're talking to your mortgage broker, because that will allow you to give you another side of the experience of buying the home. When you have a great mortgage broker who's looking after your finances, you're going to deal with several estate agents in the area, because it really depends on who's got the number of stock, or stock as in properties. You're going to speak to, and the final part is your solicitors, right? And your solicitors are the one that's going to actually really deal with your mortgage broker and your estate agent to complete the sale. Now, in between that, there's a lot of searches, there's a lot of works that needs to be done. Now, I might do a next video about why you need to use a solicitor, but at the moment, they are your standard process of speaking to your broker, getting your finances sorted, speaking to several estate agents to make sure that you're giving them an interest, your criteria and the type of property that you're looking for, and last but not the least, a solicitor who's going to really work hard to complete this sale for you. Now, one of the questions I used to get asked a lot was, why should I go to a mortgage broker? Can I just not go to the bank that I've got my accounts for years? Can I not just speak to them and actually get a good deal? However, guys, this is what happens. Like your car insurance, a perfect example, right? You go into, say, Go Compare or whatever, and actually look at the best deal in the market with the best rates and everything. That's exactly what a mortgage broker would do for you. Now, the biggest thing about mortgage brokers, you get to physically speak to them and actually know all this information and the details and potentially some of the question that you might have. So one of the biggest thing I've always said is, yes, there is a little fee. Now, rather than you actually go into Lloyds, HSBC and different banks, you can just literally go to a broker, put your application through, they will show you the requirements, and then they will do the work for you, which then saves you a lot of time, lot of effort. However, you still gain the same knowledge, or even better, because you're working one-to-one with the broker. Well, with my experience of estate agent, I must say that I have thoroughly enjoyed that. A lot of first-time buyers used to say to me, Piers, we just felt like we're not ready, and we thought we can't come and speak to you till we get everything sorted. But guys, actually, it's on the other way. You need to make sure that you're visiting those offices and actually telling people that now you are about to get ready, you are looking for properties. The fact that they will then start doing the work for you, which means, you know, you might have certain criteria that you want to meet in your property, they will work for you, and that's exactly what you want to do. You do not want to just look at Rightmove or Zoopla and then make decision. What you want to do is give them a criteria, sit down with them, they will give you some advice as well, and people, and estate agents especially, they will love to give you the breakdown, the you know, because at the end of the day, we're there to serve you and give you the value that you need as a first-time buyer, especially buying your property through them. Well, however, if you're buying a property, you just need to make sure that it's not through an online auction. That's the only time you will be liable to pay a fee to a estate agent. Apart from that, you are purchasing a property and you pretty much do not need to pay a estate agent because they're paid from the seller side. Well, the last one is your solicitor, who has got a fee. They will charge you something up front, first of all, to start your application processes, and then the rest on completion. So guys, one of the things with solicitors, you need to make sure you're always communicating, giving them the information, because at the end of the day, they're working with several clients and they're so busy. So you need to make sure that your communication with your broker to solicitor, because they need to get involved at certain points. Also, your estate agent needs to deal with your solicitors highly as well. So making sure that all your power team are communicating, but not only that, you're the one who should drive that as well. So making sure that communication is right. Well, this is what I say, guys. Obviously, this video is just a guidance to you, but remember, the financial advising part is always to speak to a broker, to a estate agent or a solicitor, because they're the one to give you the detailed information based on what your life is at the moment, your circumstances, and how you want to be prepared to buy your first home. If you found this video useful, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also, I will be bringing a lot more detailed content around a few of the other things. I might bring some guest speakers at later date as well. So please make sure you are subscribed so you get the notification about whenever I put a new video on. Well, I say let the fun begin. This is what I say to a lot of my first time buyers previously, because the critical process. Now, this is what takes you to your standard process. So if you get your critical process right, your standard process is going to be as smooth as possible. But if you're not ready with your critical process, then yes, there will be some concerns. And not only that, you might find some challenges. And what you want to do is have a smooth journey of buying your first property. The first one I want to discuss in the critical process is going to be your credit score, right? And your credit score is driven by numbers of factors. There are different websites you could actually check your own credit score. I might leave a link down below so you can just go and actually create some accounts and actually see where your credit score is. Now, this is where the reason why you speak to mortgage broker is they are going to ask you this question straight away. Now, it's always good to know where your credit score is at the time and how you want to be prepared in the time you're actually going to buy those properties, or buy your first home, really, because in property investment as well, it's exactly the same thing. However, in first time buying as well, credit score is very, very important, and to be prepared to make sure that you have got a great credit score is going to allow you to attract best interest rate in the market. So again, I would advise you to speak to a financial advisor and actually making sure that you also understand what a credit score is and what are the requirements. That's exactly where you need to understand that. The second thing in the critical process is there's certain requirement for being an employed person, and there is certain requirement when you're self-employed, which means they've got certain criteria that you've got to meet for employment in terms of your payslip, your contracts, or are you permanent. However, also again on the other side of being a self-employed, you need certain amount of accounts and different details that need to pass through your mortgage broker before you actually go to your lender and actually qualify for a mortgage. Well, and the third thing in the critical process is actually really your deposit. Now, obviously, there's two different ways. You've got savings or gifts, right? So please make sure that these are the three things that you understand in terms of your credit score. You're making sure you're self-employed, employed. what are the requirements is always good to know, and also your deposit, which is quite crucial. Either their savings, if so, what accounts, how many accounts are they in, or if it's a gift, who's gifted you? Are they giving you the certification of making sure that the money is only gifted and it's not a loan while you're buying a property? So there's again so much details from a financial perspective, which again, today's video is just to give you an overview. I am not a financial advisor, so I would again, the guide to you is to say, go and speak to a financial advisor, because that is for you now. You can see how you can start preparing your process, which is the critical process. Then once you're ready with this, you are then ready to go and speak to your standard process, which is the power team. That allows you to have such a great smooth process to actually buy your first home. Well guys, I feel like the video was quite detailed. I kind of gave you an understanding of the standard process, the pricing that you might need to pay to them. Obviously you've got the other cost anyway while you're buying your property, but also the critical process, which is the most important part of buying your first home. I hope this has helped you understand the process of actually buying your first home. And not only that, it gives you an understanding of how much preparation it takes to go and buy your first home. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give this video a like, a subscribe. Property investing, Airbnb business, or anything regarding property, please subscribe to the channel, because I'm posting every day at the moment, and I will be back with another video.